I love that story. I had never heard that story until I started preparing for today, and it was in the worship help, so I got the book. And it touched my heart. And I think it's a perfect story to precede what I want to share with you today. As you heard earlier, Earl said, today our theme is Easter People Believe. Sometimes it's hard for us to believe what we hear and see initially until something happens in our lives, which changes our minds. That was a perfect example. Lily was afraid of the paperman at the beginning, but by the time of the end of the story, she was filled with love and compassion for him. The scripture that Earl shared with us, which is our lesson for today, I think is also a good example of how it is difficult many times for us to believe what we hear and see initially. As you heard in the scripture that's Earl gave to you, at first, the disciples thought that Jesus was a ghost. They couldn't believe what they were seeing and hearing. And he tried to convince them, no, it's really me. He said, look at my hands, look at my feet, look at my body, touch me. I am flesh and bones. A ghost does not have flesh and bones. But still they doubted. So he tried something else to convince them. He said, do you have any food here? And they said, yes, we have some fish. So they brought him some broiled fish, and he ate it in their presence. Still, they weren't sure. They still had some doubt in their minds. And then he said, he reminded them that the words that he had told them earlier were true. And then he opened their eyes and their minds. And now they understood what he had tried to tell them earlier. Now they believed. We're going to explore some other stories in the scriptures this morning in just a minute. But first, I want to share with you a folktale from Liberia. Folktales also can teach us lessons. And this folktale is called The Crocodile and the Chicken. And I think it's a wonderful example of how sometimes we find it difficult to believe what we hear and see initially, just like the story of Lily, when she found it difficult to feel at the end of the story the way she felt at the beginning of the story. So here is the story of the crocodile and the chicken. One day, the crocodile was swimming in the water. Nearby, the chicken was pecking the ground, looking for food. The crocodile was licking its lips, thinking that chicken was going to make a delicious meal for him pretty soon. The chicken was afraid of the crocodile and watched him closely. One day, the crocodile came out of the water to pursue the chicken. The chicken called out to the crocodile, "Brother crocodile, don't eat me. We are related." The crocodile stopped to think about that. We are related? Couldn't be. And while he was thinking about that, the chicken ran away. The more he thought about it, it really did perplex him. And he kept thinking, we couldn't possibly be related. A chicken can't swim. I swim in the water. We can't be related. A chicken has speckled feathers. I don't have speckled feathers. I have a green skin. A chicken has a beak. I don't have a beak. I have a big mouth with sharp teeth. How could we possibly be related? So he decided he would go ask Mother Earth. She would know the answer. So he started on his journey to go find Mother Earth. Along the way, he met Lizard. And Lizard said, well, hello, where are you going? And what are you doing? And so he said, well, I have this chicken that told me that I'm related, and I just can't believe that I am related to a chicken. So I'm going to ask Mother Earth. She will know for sure. So the lizard listened to that. And then the lizard said to him, of course you are related. And the crocodile looked at it. I'm related? And he said, of course you are related. You are looking at the wrong things. You are looking at how you are different, but you are also alike. Things that swim in the water lay eggs. Crocodiles lay eggs, ducks lay eggs, frogs lay eggs, and chickens lay eggs. You are related. The crocodile had never thought of that. Yes, he had to admit, they must be related. They must be family. So the crocodile went back to swim in the water where he started out. The chicken was gone for a long, long time. But eventually, she came back to look for food near the water where the crocodile was swimming. Pretty soon, the crocodile started to come out of the water, and the chicken began to run away. But the crocodile called out, Sister, sister chicken, don't run away. We are family. We are related. We both lay eggs. I don't want to eat you anymore. Stay here. And with that, the crocodile and the chicken began to live together in peace. Now, I hope you noticed at the beginning of the story, the crocodile could not believe what he was hearing and seeing. But something happened. He encountered the lizard and gained some new wisdom. And the lizard helped him understand that, yes, indeed, he was related to the chicken. They could have a relationship. Now we're going to turn back to the scriptures, and we're going to go back to the 24th chapter of Luke, where our lesson for today came from. And here we find other stories of how the disciples of Jesus had trouble believing what they were hearing and seeing. When they found the tomb empty, they had trouble believing what they were seeing and hearing until they heard this question. Why do you look for the living where among the dead? He is not here. He is risen. And then they heard these words. Remember when he told you while you were still in Galilee, how the Son of Man must be handed over to sinners and be crucified, and on the third day rise again? Then they remembered those words that Jesus had told them earlier. Even though Jesus was trying to prepare them for what was to come, they could not believe or understand what they were hearing until later. Then they understood. Another story about seeing and hearing and not believing also comes from the 24th chapter of Luke. Now, the same day, two of them were walking to a village called Emmaus, about 7 miles from Jerusalem, talking with each other about all the things that had happened. While they were walking and discussing the things that had happened, a stranger came along and started walking beside them. But they were kept from recognizing him. They did not know but this was Jesus. Jesus said to them, "What are you discussing while you walk along together?" They stood still, looking sad. And then one of them, whose name was Cleopas, said, "Are you the only stranger in Jerusalem who does not know what has happened in these days in this place?" And Jesus asked them, "What things?" Now, isn't that typical of Jesus? He was always answering a question with another question. And here he did it again. So he says, "What things?" Like he had no idea what they were talking about. "The things about Jesus of Nazareth, who was a prophet, mighty in word and deed, before God and all people. And now our chief priests and leaders have handed him over to be condemned and to be crucified. But we had hoped that he was the one who would redeem Israel. Yes, and besides that, it was the third day since these things had happened. Moreover, some women of our group astounded us today. They were at the tomb early this morning, and when they did not find the body there, they came back and told us that they had had a vision of an angel who told them that Jesus was alive. Some of those who were with them went back to the tomb to see if the women knew what they were talking about. And sure enough, they found just exactly what they said. But they did not see him. Then the stranger, Jesus, of course, said to them, "Oh, how foolish you are, how slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have delivered. Was it not necessary that the Messiah should suffer these things and then enter into his glory?" Then, beginning with Moses and all the prophets, he interpreted to them all things about himself in the scriptures. As they approached Emmaus, the disciples urged the stranger to stay with them because night was near. So he said he would. At the table, the stranger took bread, gave thanks, and broke it. And suddenly their eyes were opened, and they recognized that it was Jesus who had been walking with them. But just as quickly, Jesus vanished from their sight. Overwhelmed, the disciples recalled how their hearts had burned when they were walking along the road with the stranger. They immediately returned to Jerusalem, where they found the 11 and shared with them their encounter with Jesus. He was indeed alive. Yet they themselves did not believe what they heard and saw initially until Jesus broke bread with them and opened their eyes. Then they believed. This reminds us that even when we do not recognize him, Jesus walks along beside us, opening our eyes to his identity and truth. The last account that I want to share with you this morning about someone who did not believe what was being said or heard is found in John chapter 20, verses 11 through 17. This is his meeting with Mary Magdalene. She stood outside the empty tomb, tears running down her eyes. She saw two angels in white robes. They inquired, "Woman, why are you crying?" Mary responded, "They have taken away my Lord, and I do not know where they put him." In her sorrow, she turned around, and there she saw a man standing. She did not recognize that it was Jesus himself. She mistook him for a gardener. Then, with infinite tenderness, Jesus spoke her name, Mary. In that moment, recognition dawned upon her, and she cried out, "Rabboni," which means teacher. The risen Christ stood before her, alive and victorious. There were witnesses to Christ's miracles and his resurrection. Even though they didn't believe what they saw and heard initially, he was revealed to them. May we open our eyes and hearts and our minds to believe even when we don't understand what we are seeing and hearing initially, so that new light can be revealed to us. Like the crocodile in the folktale and the disciples of Jesus in the scriptures, we may need to learn to think in new ways.